Up all night by myself, trying to figure ways to you. Up all night by myself, trying to figure ways to you. Your voice stuck in my brain, we never got to see it through. And I know I feel more pain if we're speaking truth. Cause when the daylight comes I still lose, So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will I feel it again? I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. Cause when the daylight comes I still lose, So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will looking back at our time, hoping that we did it right. And give me any reason to call you up late at night. And we know it's for the best, I won't put up a fight. Cause when the daylight comes, I still lose. So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will I feel it again? I just don't know. I just don't know. Just don't know. Cause when the daylight comes, I still lose. So will I feel it again? I just don't know. And I'm hoping I'll find a way to let go. So if you love me, how could you leave me so low? So will I feel it again? I just don't know. I just don't know.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone to the live stream for the Airshow today. We're just getting a few technical issues ironed out and then we're going to get things underway. Okay, now we've got everybody back and the multiplayer servers are all working, so that's all good. Apologies about the little delays there. You can hear some of the engine noise in the background probably at this point, because we have got a couple of aircraft waiting to take off. So we shall get things underway. Starting with, I believe, the Hispano Bouchon to take off, and then we will also have the first display of the day, which will be the E51 Mustang. All right. Okay, so we'll get the Bouchon positioned on the runway, and then we'll be with you very shortly. Okay then, so Bouchon is about to start his roll then on the runway. He'll get airborne and then we'll have our first couple of displays get to go. Okay, so that's the Bouchon up and in the air. Going to switch around. Thank you, Kane, for letting me know my mic is low. Hopefully that's a bit better. Now we await the arrival of the P-51D Mustang. Specifically, what will be Jersey Jerk, the P-51 from Sywell. Okay. He has informed me he is running in. We'll keep our eyes peeled for him. Okay, 1 minute till he's in the display box. And here he comes. So, without further ado, introducing the P-51D Mustang Jersey Jerk. That's right, Kath. Yes, you are watching Carl flying the P-51 at the moment. He's flying P-51 Jersey Jerk from Sywell-based P-51. Been seen at a couple of air shows last year in the real world. And that's it, correctly as Kath has pointed out, you can actually watch the onboard footage from Carl's perspective over on the Ghost Squadron YouTube channel. You'll be able to see his perspective of his display as well. And the P-51 that Carl is flying, one of 3 representation of Merlin-powered aircraft from the World War II period that we will see on the stream today. One shortly to follow, in fact, and another one a little bit later on in the stream. And Carl signifying the concluding couple of passes of his display with a nice wing waggle on the way through. And coming through for his final pass. And there we go. Very nice display from Carl there. He's going to come round and position himself to land, I believe. And nice representation of the P-51 Mustang. So as Carl repositions, we have the next aircraft out in the hold for the next display. That will be the Hispano-Bouchon. So we're going to have the P-51 land first, and then the Hispano-Bouchon will come in and perform its display. That will be flown by JJ. So the P-51 coming in on finals. And there we go. Don't worry about the landing gear there, where it was a little bit invisible for part of that landing. Unfortunately, that's just one of the sim issues that can happen sometimes. The landing gear doesn't appear. It was actually down all the way through the landing. It's just one of those things that the sim doesn't quite render them in before they get quite close up to the camera in this case. Okay, so the P-51 is going to taxi around in front of us, and then we will see the Bouchon fairly shortly. Okay then, right, we'll see about getting the Bouchon in fairly shortly. Should be running in any moment, so we will we'll see the Bouchon overhead the Headcorn skies, and the Mustang is going off to park up. Lovely display there from Ghost Squadron. Okay, a faint speck in the sky there signals the Bouchon running in, very high up, coming down. This aircraft, of course, another one of the Merlin examples, but that's only because it's a Hispano Bouchon, actually representing, more precisely, the BF 109. BF 109, of course, being the primary adversary of the likes of the Spitfire and the Mustang and a lot of other European fighters of the period, representing the Axis Powers' main fighter aircraft, the Luftwaffe. So the big difference between the Hispano Bouchon and the BF 109 is the Hispano Bouchon was a Spanish-built, license-built Messerschmitt 109 in effect. So rather than using the Daimler-Benz inverted liquid-cooled V12 engine that the traditional BF 109 uses, it does indeed use a Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. The Rolls-Royce Merlin engine at the time being surplus to requirements for the Royal Air Force and the UK, meaning that the BF 109s built by the Spanish, or rather the Hispano Bouchons built by the Spanish, could actually be powered by Merlins we'd sold off to them. But effectively, from the leading edge of the wing backwards, it's almost identical to a BF-109. This particular example being a representation of BF-109 Yellow 10 based at Duxford. Yellow 10 is actually regularly seen at air shows such as Headcorn, in fact, in the real world, and is quite often seen dogfighting with its primary adversaries, the likes of the Spitfire and the Hurricane. The reason that the Hispano-Bouchons were painted up in the way that they are, in the Luftwaffe markings rather than Spanish markings, which they would have been painted up in during their time of production and service life, is actually quite a lot of the time they were used in movies as a representation of the much rarer BF-109 aircraft. So the likes of the 1960s Battle of Britain movie, for those of you that will have watched it, that was quite often featuring Hispano-Bouchon aircraft as opposed to the BF-109, which at the time was, of course, a lot rarer and still is to this very day. Indeed they did, Keith, in a lot of cases. The Bouchons being the representation for the 109, like you say. That's exactly it. Quite a lot of these aircraft were actually also rebuilt by the late Richard Grace. Sadly, he passed away last year. But he was responsible for restoring, he and his company, I believe it's Air Leasing, were responsible for the restoration of most of the Bouchons we see here in the UK in preserved condition. And a smoke on pass signifying that the aircraft has indeed been hit successfully by our flak guns. Quite often during pairs displays or dogfight displays, you'll see the Bouchon running away from the Spitfires, having been shot down in effect and trailing the smoke as it is now. So today, unfortunately, we don't have a Spitfire chasing him down, but he's coming around for his final pass now. And a lovely display it has been so far. Oh, that's... Camera's moved for some reason there, so apologies about that. The camera did move. Apologies to those who saw the camera just move into the fence a little bit there. That was my mistake. I had a bit of a problem with the camera there. I have just fixed that. So that shouldn't happen again now. And the Bouchon is setting up to land, turning finals at the moment. Now, a tricky aeroplane to land this is indeed, because it's got a very narrow landing gear track. So it's always a tricky one. Not much visibility over the nose, as is the case for most warbirds. Especially those with the Merlin 66 engines in them. The Spitfire, the Bouchon, the BF-109 as well, actually, in a lot of cases, was very hard to see over the nose. All tail dragger configured aircraft, which means they have two main landing gear at the front and one tail wheel at the back. Again, don't worry about the landing gear, that is actually out. It's just not rendered in at the moment. A very nice landing there by JJ, and a very good display too. That's quite interesting to hear that, Keith, about the 109 being shot down by the anti-aircraft gun. Pretty hard job being an anti-aircraft gunner in that time, trying to recognise the aircraft as well. Hence the reason for a lot of aircraft being marked up with bright colours. In the case of the 109s over in Germany, they'd have had the yellow nose in some cases, things like that. And then in our case, we obviously had the D-Day stripes and things like that that we'd experimented with. The likes of D-Day, or in the early years, we also painted the Battle of Britain Hurricanes and 109s, Hurricanes and Spitfires, sorry. We painted them up with black and white wings underneath, one side black, one side white, but that wasn't very successful. So we went to the D-Day stripes as the war progressed. And there is Yellow 10. Maxing past. Very nice job there by JJ. Right, so following the Bouchon, next up we're moving to a different era of aircraft now. We're going to go a little bit into the fast jet era. In fact, we're going to go quite a way into the fast jet era. We're going to go to a fast jet trainer aircraft. Still somewhat in use by some air forces around the world, though this particular one in use by a very popular display team in the UK. That should give you a big hint as to what it is, and we'll get him in fairly shortly. Okay, then, running in from the left, it is the BAE Hawk T1. Oh, a little bit of lag there, unfortunately. Another sim issue that happens sometimes. You may see him disappear in and out of view, unfortunately. That is due to a distance fixing issue, basically where the aircraft renders in and doesn't render in at certain distances, so you'll see him disappear on occasion. Don't worry, he is still there and is still flying around, and we will catch him each time he comes back into view. And a very nice pass there, showing off the underside of the display livery painted Hawk. This specifically being, I think, the 2012 display Hawk, and this is the Benevolent Fund heart underneath it. So something very different to the two previous aircraft we've seen so far. Hawk, of course, being the RAF's primary jet trainer aircraft. Of course, now we've moved to the Hawk T2 in the real world, but the T1 having been the predecessor, effectively the T2 being an evolution of the T1 in some respects. Majority of the Hawk T1s being based at RAF Valley in North Wales, where our pilot Ben, who's flying the Hawk, is fairly familiar. And of course the Hawk T1 now being the mount of the Royal Air Force Red Arrows display team. A lovely 4-point roll there by Ben, demonstrating the ability of the Hawk. Tricky location to fly at Headcorn in a jet like this. We will see a few other jets a little bit later on in the display lineup. I won't give away all of the different aircraft we've got coming up just yet, but we will have some further fast jet displays alongside this one as well. But a very nice start to the fast jet display lineup with the Hawk T1 so far. Thank you, Keith. Indeed it is. Very nice display from Ben so far. Nice and smooth. Keeping it flowing. Also showcasing the maneuverability and capabilities such as the roll rate of the Hawk. Nice inverted pass there. Quite tricky in the Hawk on the sim at the moment, but done very well by Ben there. Thank you very much, Mark. Much appreciated for the support. And to right, Andrew, as well. Definitely watch loads of aviation. Always a good idea. And a slower pass, showcasing the slower flight capability of the T1 now then. As you can hear him powering up, jet pushing back away, back up to the more common speed that you see this thing flying around at. But a very important capability, being able to fly both slow and fast, giving the fast jet trainee pilots a good experience of the different capabilities and versatility of the Hawk and the platforms that they will then have to move on to following that in their training. Ben showcasing a high G turn at the moment as well. Nice, tight and fast. And Ben has just called last pass, so he's coming back round. Going to be a fast pass. So bear with my camera work. If I don't manage to follow him, I will do my best. And there we go. Away he goes, a little wing wave to finish. And off he goes, climbing back up. And a very nice display there from Ben. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so next up we will be transitioning to a short pre-recorded display. This will be a T6 Texan, specifically one of the ones that's actually based here at Headcorn on some of the occasions, and can regularly be seen flying at their show. So I'm going to transfer over to that now. You won't be able to hear me for much of this this display because the majority of it, like I say, is a pre-recorded display, and that'll give the others a chance to reset, and we'll get the next few displays lined up and ready to go following this. So enjoy. And this will be the T6 Texan display, otherwise known as Carly, flying from Headcorn. Enjoy. Okay. I am back with you now. Hopefully you enjoyed that pre-recorded display of the T6 Texan. And next up, we will have another fast jet display. So mixing up a little bit more. Again, following a bit of a trainer theme at the moment, actually, now I think about it. Though we're going back a little bit more from the Hawk. Not by much, but a little bit more. For those of you that know the group, it's an aircraft that's been associated with us quite a lot. In general, anyway. Not specifically this repaint. However, this repaint is indeed one that's been done by one of our pilots. Curtis has done the livery, and one of our other pilots, Ghost Squadron, is going to be flying it. And for those of you that are watching Ghost Squadron's stream, you will already probably know what the aircraft is. It is actually an aircraft made by the Hawker Aircraft Company. And it is indeed a fast jet that we sadly do not see very much of on the airshow scene these days. So he should be with us fairly shortly. He's currently flying in from another airfield because he can't, of course, take off on the grass runway here at Headcorn. And so we're just awaiting on the last little bit of his arrival, and then he will be with us very shortly. Okay, I can hear him in the background now, which means he is currently behind the crowd and positioning for his run-in. So he will not be too long at all. We've got a mixture of fast jets currently coming up, to be fair, in the lineup. There's some more other fast jets following a similar principle. But yes, Hawker Aircraft Company's jets coming in fairly soon. Okay, he's turning in now then. And without further ado, I give you the Hawker Hunter Aviation. Hawker Hunter T-Mark 68, XE688, flown by Carl, or Ghost Squadron. Okay, so a very nice display so far by Ghost Squadron. It's just slowing down now for a what we call a dirty pass. Basically, that means that all the gear and the flaps and everything, you'll have those down. You'll be flying nice and slow. They do a couple of passes just because of the issue with the rendering of the landing gear and everything like that. Sometimes it doesn't show up on the first pass. So if it looks like he's flying very slow without the gear, don't worry, it is actually down. It will be rendering in as he gets closer to the camera. Enjoy. And there we go, the gear showing up. We'll come back round again for another dirty pass in a moment. Also, thank you to Andrew. I have seen your message in the chat there. Much appreciated for joining us and for the support. And please do enjoy the rest of the airshow when you do get to watching it. If you'd like to watch it on replay, it will be there. Okay. He's now repositioning for a couple of high-speed passes. See the speed that the Hunter is capable of. Okay, so Carl's running in for his sector last pass then. Little wing waggle. Signify the latter stage of his display. A nice representation of XE688, the Hunter T68, commonly based and seen out of RAF Leeming with Hawk Hunter Aviation. And there we go, rolling away. That is his display complete. Thank you very much for that, Carl. That was a good display. Okay. So we're going to have a little break now for a little while. So we're going to switch to a Be Right Back screen, which will showcase for a little while some of the things we've been doing and some of the aircraft that we fly, and then we will be back with you fairly shortly with the next set of displays as they're just getting themselves all sorted out and ready to go. Enjoy. Okay. And I am back. The stream's back. Okay, next up, we will have another Hawker aircraft. However, we are now shifting back into the World War II era a little bit, maybe a little bit just after the World War II era as well. This one is no longer a jet aircraft. This is a piston aircraft this time. So we're going back to something slightly different. Quite a popular freeware on the sim, actually. It's a nice aircraft, and you'll see it fairly shortly coming out from in amongst the aircraft. He's just about to get started up, so we will see it take off and depart fairly shortly. You will hear it in the background. It is quite noisy. For those of you wearing headphones, just be wary. If it does get a little loud, we do apologise, but it shouldn't be too bad. And for those of you who can hear it, you may be able to tell what it is already if you know what the aircraft sounds like, but for those of you who don't, it is indeed the Hawker Fury, or the Hawker Sea Fury to be more precise. In this case, the Sea Fury FB11. This one will be flown by Hawk, otherwise known as Kane. He will be flying the display today, and he's just pulling out from in amongst the parked aircraft over there, as you can see down the end. There he is, on his way out. He'll be getting airborne fairly shortly. Okay, so the Sea Fury is now rolling. And he will reposition and get himself pretty much into the display. Okay, and without further ado, the Hawker Sea Fury FB11, flown by Kane, running in from the right. And also a welcome to Calvin, who's just joined the chat. I saw your message there as well. Apologies for the delayed response. And for those of you watching the Sea Fury display, if you do see it disappear on occasion, that is a distance issue with MSFS. Unfortunately, it's not something we can fix at this very moment in time. Don't worry, he is still there. He's not disappeared. There's no technical issue as such. It's just a rendering issue with MSFS distance-wise. Something they put in the sim to begin with, really. That means, unfortunately, if he goes past a certain distance, sometimes it might disappear. But don't worry, he is still there, and we will just zoom back in on him when he gets back into the display box. As you can see, the Hawker Sea Fury is a very fast aircraft, in fairness, for a piston aircraft. The Hawker Sea Fury is a radial-engined piston engine aircraft powered by the Bristol Centaurus engine. And the Hawker Sea Fury, in fact, having successfully shot down a MiG-15 during its service with the RAF, that being one of its only accredited kills during its service life. The Sea Fury having been an aircraft that was primarily constructed a little late for our theatre of war. So it served quite often in the Middle East and in other theatres such as the Korean War. It served in those. I believe that is also where it shot down the MiG, is the Korean War, but it has shot down a Russian MiG jet, or a Korean MiG jet at the time. But that shows quite purely the speed and power of the Sea Fury FB-11, powered by that Centaurus engine, as Kane demonstrates with that very high altitude half Cuban as he pulls round. And welcome to Kane in the chat as well. Not the Kane flying, that's the other Kane in the chat. Got two Kanes now. But welcome to you. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Everybody's enjoying the Sea Fury display. And this is likely the fastest piston-engined aircraft you will see here today, though it may be somewhat contested by the next aircraft on the lineup. However, it's a little bit older, so it's a little bit slower, I'd have said, so far statistically on paper. But the Sea Fury FB-11 putting on a nice show for us today. Okay then, and the roll signifying the completion of the Sea Fury's display. So very nice display there from Kane, showcasing the speed and power of the Bristol Centaurus powered FB-11. And the evolution of the technology from the earlier era of World War II, the earlier aircraft, versus the aircraft that were produced just as the war was coming to an end and the jet era began. Okay, so the Sea Fury is going to come in and land on the grass runway here, and then we will have our next display, staying with the warbird theme for the time being. However, we will also dip back into the fast jets in a little while too. And I'm pleased to also say that that fast jet display will involve an element of formation, which I'll keep the suspense from there, but some formation flying is coming this way. Sea Fury just above the trees now then, coming in on finals for runway 28. And then we'll have our next display, which will be flown by Ben. I will reveal all in a moment, but we are sticking with the warbird theme, though we are switching to 2 engines this time instead of 1. And there we go. And there's the Sea Fury. And again, don't worry about the landing gear not showing up initially. That is an issue with MSFS with Flight Simulator. It does happen on occasion. But a very nice landing there from Kane. A little bit of a bounce on the grass as per what you would expect in the warbirds. They always do tend to bounce here at Headcorn if you watch some of the real aircraft coming into land. So he'll taxi back in, and then we'll have the next act, which will be the P-38 Lightning, which I can hear behind me actually now, having just started up as well. So he'll be repositioning, getting himself all ready and hopefully lined up on the runway, and we will see him take off in a little while. And a nice little view of the Sea Fury taxiing off back to parking, and the P-38 waiting lined up on the runway ready to get airborne. Okay, so the Sea Fury now taxied back to parking. We're going to wait a little moment just to sort a couple of things out, and the P-38 getting ready to taxi, to take off there on the runway. And this will be flown by Ben. Okay, the P-38 airborne. So he's going to pretty much reposition and get back into the box for his display. And in the meantime, I can also hear our next act lingering behind us, which is fine. They're just off in the hold, waiting to be called in for their display as well. And of course, as I say, the fast jet display will be the next part of our show. All right. Okay, and the P-38 is running in from the left, flown by Ben. So the P-38 you see before you today is actually the silver P-38, quite commonly associated with the Flying Bulls display team. Of course, this aircraft normally can be seen flying alongside a Corsair and a P-51 quite a bit of the time, but Ben today displaying in a solo display, showcasing the flowing sort of lines of the aircraft and the maneuverability of the airplane, especially in the vertical half Cubans and loops that the P-38 can often be seen doing during its real-life displays. Okay, so the P-38 has just called last pass, so he's coming in for a fast pass. And along he comes. There he goes. That is the P-38 Lightning. A nice barrel roll to finish. So he's going to reposition now then, and he'll come into land, and then we will be getting all set up for our first formation act of the evening. Okay, the P-38 coming into land now then. Short finals. And the nice shiny silver paint scheme glinting in the sun there as he came into land. And a very nice display there from Ben in the P-38. Next up, we will have the pair of jet aircraft coming in. I'm not going to reveal exactly what they are until they come into the display line again, I think. We'll wait for them to come round. They'll be in fairly shortly. We're just going to wait for the P-38 to taxi on past. But next up, we'll have a formation pairing of 2 jet aircraft. And then it will follow with a couple more solos. And the final act of the day will also be another formation. We've got a few more displays to go yet. About 5 or 6 more displays, so stay tuned. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Okay then, so the P-38 off to go and park up, and the next aircraft are currently repositioning for their run-in, off to our right in a moment. Okay, they've just called running in, so they will be with us imminently. They've called smoke on, so should see them any second. Okay then, running in from the right the Strike Master pair. Okay, slight technical issue there for the Strike Masters. They're coming back round again. They're just going to reposition for a fresh run-in. But this is their second time doing it at a air show recently. They've done it at a couple of air shows in the past. You can see they're just repositioning at the moment, so we'll set ourselves back up for them. Indeed. These two are actually BAC Strike Masters, so an evolution of the BAC Jet Provost, or the Percival Jet Provost originally. And more specifically, the strike version, in effect, as the name would suggest. Equipped with weaponry attached to the wings, and primarily used in a ground strike role. These two actually equipped with smoke, as they are regular aircraft on the airshow circuit here in the UK. So, rolling out smoke on has been called by the lead, and they are repositioning and running in again now. From the right, the Strike Master pair. As you may have noticed, sometimes the render distance issues can be a bit of an issue here and there, but we will zoom back in each time they get a little bit closer again and they come back into the render distance. So a very nice dynamic display so far. The 2 aircraft flown by Kurt and JJ. Lead is Kurt, flying the jet at the front of the formation. And following that, you have JJ flying the number 2 position as they transition to slot for a barrel roll. So as some of you can tell, the dynamic phase of their display, a bit of a head-to-head. Okay, so they're repositioning round for their final maneuver then. A quite popular maneuver when it comes to aircraft equipped with smoke. Some of you may know what that is now, but we will wait and see. But, they'll be running in crowd centre fairly shortly. And quite rightly guessed there, it was indeed the Love Heart. And that concludes the Strike Master pairs display. Very well done to both of them. Absolutely lovely display. And thank you very much to Kurt and JJ. Okay then, so now the Strike Master display has come to a conclusion. The next up, we're going back to a bit of a, well, a bit further back to World War II again, and even a little bit older than that, dare I say, for one of the other aircraft. But we're going to go back in time again to the piston engine aircraft once more. That will be the conclusion. These two displays will be the final two displays for the warbirds and or classic aircraft, piston engines to be specific. And then there'll be some more modern aircraft following that as well. A couple more fast jets, and then one more formation, which we will keep as a bit more of a surprise, because that one will indeed involve more formation and some aerobatics here and there, perhaps. So we will keep that on hold for the time being. Okay, well, the next engine startup signifies that we have another aircraft about to be headed out for a display. That being the Spitfire PR11, PL965. So this being the last of our Merlin-engined fighter aircraft, and indeed the last of the World War II fighter displays for this evening. Okay, we do appear to have an extra aircraft having just joined in the activities. But if you are watching the stream and you are also on the sim, we do ask politely if you wouldn't mind not flying through during the displays. The aircraft performing for this display specifically is the front Spitfire, the blue Spitfire PL965. That is the aircraft that will be performing a solo display. No worries, Calvin. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Have a nice rest of your evening. So as said, the first of the two Spitfires is the aircraft actually lined up to do the display. We have had another aircraft seem to tag on to the back of the pair. He is not technically displaying at the airshow. However, he has decided to follow on at the moment. And without further ado, Spitfire PL965, flown by Mordecai. Okay then, so that's the Spitfire display, PL965 complete. As you see, it did get tagged on a little bit there by a representation of Gertie, or the Silver Spitfire Golf India Romeo Tango Yankee, hence the name Gertie, by a player that was actually in the sim at the time. As we say though, if you wouldn't mind, please don't fly through if you are watching the stream. Because all the guys have worked very hard in practicing and preparing their displays, so we do try and make sure the area is nice and clear for them so that they can show you the displays in full polished and practiced efforts. But we do appreciate that people are keen on getting involved, and we will, I'm sure, eventually work out some way of being able to do that a little more. But for the time being, we do ask, please don't join in on the displays at the moment. And the Spitfire then onshore finals, flown by Mordecai. A very nice display, that too. Okay, so the next aircraft up, we've got the de Havilland Dragon Rapide, as you can see just behind the Spitfire that parked up just a moment ago. He's just taxiing out to the runway to line up, and he'll give us a little short display. Going back in time yet again, a little bit further now, but this will be the last of the classic aircraft performing today, or rather the classic piston aircraft, I should say, piston-engined aircraft performing today, before we switch to some jet aircraft and a couple more modern piston-engined airplanes, which we will see a bit later on. Bugmaster, the modern piston engine fighter was the Fury that was actually earlier on today in the display list. He has actually now flown and displayed. You can watch that back a little bit earlier on in the live stream if you'd like to do so. That was flown earlier on by Kane, otherwise known as Hawk. He flew that earlier on today. But no, we will be switching to a more modern aircraft and not a fighter aircraft. Is a modern piston engine aircraft, but it will also be a formation, but we'll hold off on what exactly it is for the time being. So we have now got a few more displays to go. Of course, the Dragon Rapide being the next of them. And then we will have a couple of fast jets again, and potentially actually one more classic aircraft if we can squeeze it in. But we will see. Okay then, running in from the right is the de Havilland Dragon Rapide, flown by Ghost Squadron. Additionally, for those of you who are watching Ghost Squadron's stream, or watching our stream, he is actually streaming his onboard perspective of this display. But this will be his last display on that stream before he closes off his stream for the evening. and the Dragon Rapide then coming into land, concluding his display. That was flown by Carl, Ghost Squadron, and much appreciated for that display. Very nice indeed. And a nice taste of classic aviation that was as well. Okay then. Next up, we will have a taster of classic aviation. Classic jet aviation. So we're moving a little bit further on to some fast jets, a bit more modern again, and that will be coming up very shortly. You'll probably hear him in the background on occasion as he does get closer, because the aircraft is quite loud. But he will be with us very soon. So, as the Dragon Rapide passes by, the next aircraft is going to be starting his run in now. Hear him getting closer and closer. Going back to the sort of similar ages around about the Hunter sort of time. We're going to be going back to that sort of period. With the next jet running in from the right. The Canberra, flown by Kane. Okay, bear with me one moment. It seems the Canberra has decided to be a little bit fickle. A bit of a technical issue there. There he is again. He's come back. And continuing on, we have the Canberra display flown by Kane. Okay. The pilot has called final pass, so he's coming back round. So for one final time, the Canberra flown by Kane. Okay, so transitioning from one fast jet to another, we're going way more modern now. For a certain aircraft that the RAF certainly do still use, very much so. Based at 2 air bases in the UK at the moment, one being RAF Coningsby, the other being RAF Lossiemouth. And he'll be coming in from the left fairly shortly. We're just going to wait on him running in, but the Canberra has finished his display. He's off back to, I think, North Weald, where he was flying in from on that one. And the Typhoon will be in fairly shortly. Okay, I can hear him coming in now. He's running in. It's Mordecai from the left in the Eurofighter Typhoon. Okay, and with that, that is Mordecai's Typhoon display complete. Very nice indeed. And a good taste of the modern day Air Force and the modern day aviation. So he's back off the base for now, so he's done that. So we have now had a new edition of a display. That will be the Beech 18. So next up, we're going to have Beech 18 flown by Deathstalker, and then we will have the next formation, which will be our finale display. So the penultimate display will be the Beech 18, and then it will be concluded by a couple more modern aircraft in terms of piston engines. So we are going to have one more classic piston engine aircraft flown by our resident Canadian, and then we will have a pair of slightly more maneuverable airplanes, shall we say, but I'll keep that secret until things get going. So we'll be with you fairly shortly with the Beech 18 display. Okay. So taking off now then is the Beach 18, flown by Deathstalker. Otherwise known as our resident Canadian, or now Sparrow. And there's a wing wave. Okay, so Deathstalker has come into land. Done a couple of donuts down the end there for us in his aerobatic Beach 18. And we are now going to move on to something a little bit more aerobatic, dare I say. But very nice display nonetheless from Deathstalker. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we're just going to transition to a Be Right Back segment here then, as the Beach 18 goes into park up. We'll have the next display all set up. You can see them just hiding in the background there. We'll have that all set up. We're going to get some bits and pieces all set for them to get going. They will be the final display of the stream. So I'll be right back with you fairly shortly. Okay, we're back. So, in a moment, we're just going to get things all set. The last couple of bits, as you can see, they're on the runway, ready and waiting. It is, of course, 2 extra 330 aircraft from the Global Stars. So, I'm going to transfer over. We are going to have a little bit of music for this display, so I am going to transfer over some of the voice channel things at the moment, and then we'll get things going. And that was a very well done display by JJ and Kurt there. The global stars in the extra 330s. Thank you very much for that. Very good job. Very well done. All right then, and with that display, that brings our show for today to an end. That was the Global Stars, and thank you again once more to JJ and Kurt for that, concluding the show. So, thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the show, and thank you to all the pilots that participated as well. Some great performances, and hopefully we'll bring more air shows to you fairly soon in the not too distant future. So keep your eyes tuned on the social media, keep an eye out, and we will hopefully post a bit more about that in the coming days. But anyways, for now, we will bid you all a good night and have a very good evening. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.